video, we're going to use it as your study guide to tomorrow's math unit assessment. I'm going to walk you through each one of these questions, and if you're able to answer these questions, then you are more than ready for tomorrow's math assessment. So let's begin. Number one, how many 3/5 cup servings are in 8 cups of oatmeal? Show your work using numbers, pictures, or words. If you decide to use pictures, you will need to use a bar graph, and I'll show you why. And in this bar graph, we need to divide it up with how much oatmeal we have all together. In this case, it says we have 8 cups of oatmeal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cups of oatmeal. And we want to know how many 3/5 cup servings we can divide out of the 8 cups that we have. So that means we're going to take each whole number and divide it into 5 parts according to our denominator. And then we're going to see, okay, how many times can we divide out or take out or share 3/5? So we're going to count 3/5. 1, 2, 3. There's a serving. 1, 2, 3. Another. 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 And then we just have 1 left over. And remember, when it comes to the bar graph and we have something left over, we have to zoom into that part. And when we zoom into that part, we're now not just looking at the fifths, we're looking at, okay, what fraction is left over in order for me to get 3/5? I would need 2 more parts. So if I'm just zooming in and looking at just this section, the 1, 2, 3 section to make 3/5, well, how much is left over in my bar? In this case, there's only 1 out of the 3 pieces left over. So how many servings does that actually give me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and a third. I can get 13 1/3 servings. Well, let's see how you solve just using numbers. Once again, what am I actually dividing out? I'm dividing out the 8 cups, and I'm dividing it into 3/5 servings. Keep, change, flip. 8 times 5 is 40. 1 times 3 is 3. 40/3 is an improper fraction, meaning I can divide it out and get out some whole numbers. 3 will divide into 4 one time. I'm not finished. I have to bring down my next place value, and now I'm looking at 10. 3 can divide into 10 3 times with a remainder of 1. So now I have my whole number, numerator, denominator, for a final answer of 13 1/3 servings. Now if I move too fast in this video, feel free to pause, rewind, rewatch, whatever you need to do in order to get ready for tomorrow. Alright, number 2. Mr. Green has 3/4 of an apple pie left over. He split the leftover pie evenly between his 4 children. What fraction of a pie did each child get? Show your work in numbers, pictures, or words. In this case, if you're starting with the picture, you have a pie, and there's only 3/4 left, so I'm going to cut it into 4ths. And then I'm going to show what's left over. I only have 1, 2, 3 pieces left. But I have to share it between 4 children. So what do I do? Okay, be careful with this because you see the 3/4 and you may just want to slice into 4 and make another slice to make 4 pieces. But dividing on fractions is all about sharing equally. Sharing equally. So how am I going to share equally? Well, we're taking the 3/4 and we're sharing it or dividing it between the 4 children, which means keep, change, flip. 3 times 1 is 3, 4 times 4 is 16. 3 16ths. 3 16ths cannot be simplified and is a proper fraction. So if you were going to do this with the picture, you would actually now have to divide it into 16ths in order for everybody to get a fair share. So that's 8, and then I have to divide it again. Into 16ths. And then I can show, all right, this is for the first child. 1, 2, he gets the 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3 pieces for the second child. 1, 2, 3 pieces for the third child. And 1, 2, 3 pieces for the fourth child. So, what fraction of pi did each child get? 3 16ths in order to divide it evenly. Next question. How many thirds are in a 4? Okay, be careful of questions like this and listen to what it's actually asking. Okay, in this case, we're dealing with a fraction, and how many of this fraction are in 4 wholes? So if I would actually draw this out, I would make 4 whole circles and divide the 4 into thirds. My fraction, how many parts are there? Well, each part has 3 thirds. 3 thirds. 3 thirds. 3 thirds. So how many thirds are there altogether? Well, that's 3, 6, 9, 12. You can get 12 thirds out of the 4. If you want to just use numbers to solve, you would take your 4 wholes and you would divide it by thirds. And that's keep, change, flip, for a final answer of still 12 thirds. Alright, let's look at number 4. In a 5-mile race, water stations can be placed every 3rd or 4th mile. Having stations at which distance would provide the most number of water stations. Show your work in numbers, pictures, or words. If you're going to use pictures, since we're talking about distance, I love the number line. You should use the number line method, where we have a starting point and an end point. And since we're trying to make a choice between 3rd or 4th, we need to show our 2 different options. So if they gave another fractional option, you would need to draw another option. Show all options. This is a 5-mile race, so I have a beginning and an end. It's 5 miles. So what's going to go in between? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles. And since I'm trying to evenly compare, they both should look the same. Now, my first option is to place water stations at every 3rd mile, which means I have to take my number line and divide each mile into thirds. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, all right, if I do that, how many water stations are there going to be? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There will be 15 water stations. What about for every 4th mile? That means I have to take each mile and divide it into 4 parts. Now, you should automatically know that since 4ths are more than a 3rd, there's going to be more water stations, but just how much more? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's going to be 20 water stations. And once you show your picture, you actually still have to go back and answer the question. Because I don't want you to just compare. I want you to actually tell me, okay, now which distance would provide the most number of water stations? In this case, 20 is more than 15, so you should answer every 4th mile. Now, if you prefer, you may solve in numbers. How would you do that? You would take the 5 miles and you would first divide it into thirds for your first option. That's keep, change, flip. 5 times 3, that's 15. So there will be 15 water stations. And then your other option is take the 5 miles and divide it by every 4th mile. Keep, change, flip. 5 times 4 is 20. And then once again, you have to actually answer the question. At which distance would provide the most number of water stations? Every 4th mile would actually provide the most water stations. All right, we have one more question. Just like your unit assessment only has 5 questions. It says 8 kids decided to put all their candy bars together and share them equally. Look at those key words. Share them equally. If the kids have 3 candy bars all together, how much does each child get? Show your work in numbers. Just numbers is all I asked for. We're sharing equally, so we know we're dividing. What are we dividing? The 8 kids or the 3 candy bars? You're taking the 3 candy bars and you're sharing it with 8 kids. So how can you actually answer this question? It should be 3 divided by 8. Now, which brings us to 3/8. 3/8 is a proper fraction and it cannot be simplified. So you're finished. That's it. How much does each child get? Each child gets 3/8 of the candy bar. So if you can answer these questions, you are ready for tomorrow's math assessment.